there was ever a shadow of a doubt that we are morbidly obese, aside from our irregular heart palpitations.
And the fact that you can clearly see we're fat.
Yeah, if you got eyes, there was never a doubt. But mere seconds before we started the video, you were literally farting.
Oh, yeah.
Like the Nutty Professor Part 3 over here.
It wasn't even like an intentional fart. I was literally coughing and ass ripped.
Just fart came out for no damn reason. Be proud, sir. And by that, I mean be ashamed.
Yeah.
I do have a very important question, and I need to... Look, I'm not saying this microphone doesn't work.
It's bad.
But it's totally worth it. What's your opinion on that, sir?
You're breaking my teeth.
I do want your opinion, though, man, because today we're going to talk about a little butt nugget that I just sharted.
Okay.
And it's called, I don't know what the hell this video is about.
All right.
But let's cut to the music, and by the time we come back, we will know. So we're back, and I totally remember what the fuck the video was about. Look, you gotta excuse me here. I am sick. I wish like this actually works. So it'd be like, I am sick.
Like an alternate.
I am sick. It would sound like that, only super annoying. Yeah. More so than that.
You just blew out the mic too.
It's pretty cool.
It was a $1,000 mic.
This, however, is a Sunhua, so we should be good. No, man, we're gonna talk about something that definitely blew out my butthole, and it's time, bro. It's time for another little prison story time, because I'm going to tell you some gross stories about prison. One of them involving me, and one of them involving another, I shouldn't say another individual, a set of individuals. You're aware of one of these stories, I think. And I say I think, but I told you it yesterday.
Yeah.
And the first one, though, I don't think I've told you this one. I think I've alluded to it, but I don't think I've told you the full breadth of it. And it's the time that... quote unquote, I got stabbed.
Oh!
Did I tell you this one?
No.
Good.
Might have. I just kind of like write things out of my mind when you speak.
That's usually how it works. Yeah. If I have to tell that, though, I have to tell the story about me getting a horrible disease in prison. Yes, that's right, folks.
AIDS.
I got the AIDS.
Super AIDS, actually.
Fixing to die, hence the sickness. You're making fun of one of the worst diseases in the world.
Well, super AIDS, to be
live with it. Look, man, it took Freddie Mercury. It deserves to be mocked.
Yeah.
Fucking bastard. To be fair, though, Freddie Mercury was fucking buttholes left and right.
Yeah, that's a good point. Like,
so you kind of got to go,
yeah, at one
come
point,
on, man.
It wasn't even AIDS' fault at that point.
Yeah. It's like, come on. Come on, bro. I really need this to work.
Yeah.
Anyway, so this is what happened, man. You know, prison's dirty. Dirty as fuck. You know, we've told the story about the clothes there. They were never clean. There were all fucking caca streaks on them. And,
Seuss foot.
Dude, they were supposed to be white clothing, but they were yellow or brown unless you paid money to get the white clothing. The tight whites, they called them. Sucked. Anyway, the point is, everything was dirty, man. So you had to kind of wing it and or wash your shit. And even if you washed it, it wasn't that great. You know what I'm saying? Because you only have limited amounts of options to wash. So... everything's dirty. It's the fuck is my shirt all the way up here for?
Bra.
It's the you know, height of the summer. Everybody's uncomfortable because there's no air circulation, no air. It's not nothing in there. Everybody's all itchy and sweaty and shit.
Stanky butt
galore, etc. So I'm laying there one day, and all of a sudden, dude, this infernal fucking itch consumes me. And I'm not talking like, oh, my leg itches or something. I'm talking like a full body itch, if you can imagine that. Like if I was in a cast, full body cast, and I just couldn't get to anything. And it was like a burning fire all of a sudden just ignited underneath my fucking skin. And I was like, what is this shit, man? It was insane, dude. So, you know, you scratch and it doesn't go away, so you're kind of worried, right? And it only escalated. And as the days passed, I began to get worried because this thing wasn't going away and the itch was nonstop. Here's the worst part, dude. Since it was hot, you know, your ass sweats when you sit down. And if you lay down, your back and your ass is on your back. It sweats and all that shit. So the itch multiplied on the sweaty sides because now it's got that, you know, like...
moist.
Yeah, the moistness, what do they call it? Heat bumps going on top of whatever this itch was. So look, I'm just going to say it. I was known as Pizza Butt for a second.
Oh.
Because you just had to scratch your cheeks, dude. That shit was itchy already. And then add to that the heat and sweat. Let's just say it was a scar tissue ass situation.
Yeah. Like Freddy Krueger.
Yeah, Fred ass, they called me. Nobody called me that.
No.
But anyway, the point is, it was not good, dude. I was scratched, like, unabashedly unashamed scratching of the ass. Not the internal portions, mind you. Just the cheek area. Like, fuck, man, this is itching! But that's not the thing, man. It was everywhere, like I said. So, one day, this homeboy is sitting in my bunk, and we're talking and shit, and I'm, like, fidgeting around because I got scratch and shit. And he leaves. A couple of days later, he's like, dude, I can't stop scratching. And I'm like, oh, no. So I lay it on him like, dude, look, this is what happened. I've been experiencing these symptoms. I think maybe whatever I got, you got. He freaks out, naturally. He goes to medical, which I hadn't, by the way. He goes to medical and shit and does his thing, right? They tell him he has scabies, which if you're not... scabies, dude. It's fucking... It's mange for humans.
Oh, mangy. You're a mangy dog.
I was a mangy dog. So I had scabies too, was the assumption, because I gave it to him, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's the setup. I had scabies. I think I already told the story of my... Did I? Of my struggles with the scabies thing?
I think you did, yeah.
Okay, so I had scabies. That's the setup. Because of that, I had a bad relationship with the people in medical. Okay?
Yeah, because you're the mangy dog.
Yeah, I was the mangy dog that in the end was proven right, and they were forced to give me medication for it.
Yeah, you did tell you.
Okay? So that's the setup. That's important to set up. I'm not retelling it. I'm just telling you that's the setup. I had a bad relationship with the medical people because of that situation. So, this is what happens. You, before I got locked up, you encountered me in a medical pitfall of sorts. I had a cyst on my back, basically. And it basically grew, or I don't know, like a postulant cavity on my back, if you will.
Yeah, it wasn't good.
It was because I had an ingrown hair, and I just let it just do its thing.
Yeah.
And it went from itchy spot to an insane bump on my... I might as well have been called Quasimodo.
Yeah.
Because that shit was huge on my back. And one day I'm at work, and that sucker just pops. And I don't mean pops like entirely. I mean it just starts leaking.
Oof.
And it stunk, dude.
Nightmares.
Yeah.
To this day.
So I come home, and basically I make you, because it's on my back, I don't do it myself. I make you pop that bad boy out.
Yeah,
and it was full of, for days you drained this thing.
Yeah.
Full of pustulant, gross, white goo.
That was like one of the greatest and worst moments of my life because I freaking did this and just pushed it.
Yeah.
And that bad baby shot out with a freaking speed of flash.
You were almost JFK'd by it.
Yeah. It literally missed me by like this much, maybe.
And it was like torrents of goo.
Yeah, it was horrible.
Like when you say you squeezed and you went like this, you mean that. You squeezed my back, and it was just like pushing this hard substance that had accumulated there.
It just built up, and you were like screaming, and then it freaking popped, and it just hit the wall behind us.
Yeah, there was tons of it. It reeked. It was gross, man. And we did it for about 2 weeks.
Yeah, it was horrid.
And finally it was drained. Here's the thing. It was drained, but it was slowly building up again because I took no antibiotics. So, now we go back to prison. Now I'm locked up. The whole situation with the scabies thing has happened. I don't want to go to medical ever again because they suck, etc.
There's no lard ass to drain your shit.
Exactly. Well, here's the thing. One day I wake up, and I'm like, what's that smell? A very familiar stench. Hits my fucking nostrils, man. Or nostrils, as I will call them. It hits me, man, and I'm like, that is a smell I have smelled before. But it was light. Cut to about a week later, I'm like, oh no. And I feel the area in the back where that postulant cyst cavity had been. And sure enough, I got a little mini bump. And I'm like, oh shit. Cut to a month later, the stench is there. Nobody really notices it except for me. You know, sometimes we're very self-aware of ourselves, sometimes not. And in prison, you're super self-aware of yourself.
Yeah, your little butt
because you have nothing to entertain you, so you're always like aware of your body. It's weird, dude. Like 100 times more aware than you'd ever be. So I'm very aware of it, and the stench has increased. And worse, the weird bump has grown exponentially, and I'm like, oh no. So I don't want to go back to medical, okay, because of the scabies situation and all that fallout. So what do? In all my fucking stupid wisdom, I break open a little blade, they would give us razors for shaving. I break it open, take out the little blade, clean it off as best as I can.
Were you in Phantom of the Opera with all these sound effects?
Yeah, that's how I roll.
Yeah.
I go into the shower. I put up, my flag so that nobody walks in there. If you don't know what I'm talking about, there's a whole video about shower masturbation.
Mm-hmm.
But I wasn't gonna masturbate. I put up my flag for privacy. I go in there, and I say, I'm gonna cut this bad boy open. And I'm gonna drain it myself, somehow. And I did it, dude.
You strapped on your long arms.
I just reached back there, and I incised, and I squeezed, and it wasn't like when you squeeze it out, it was white, but it was also had
like brown shit,
and all that shit. This one was like clear white.
Oh, like seed?
Like no. It was like white, like stark pearly white.
Oh, like the peakers.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
So anyway, I squeezed this fucking shit out, and I was a relief. I squeezed tons of it out, and I was like, hell yeah. And I'm thinking I got this. Go to sleep. The next day I wake up, it smells like a rotting corpse the moment I get up. And I'm like, what is this? What is this? I go to the shower, take a shower, and I'm like, I really know in the back of my head, but I'm trying to be in denial, right? Over the course of the next about 4 days, the stank can't even be showered off. And people are like, what is this? And some people pretty sure figured it out and that it's coming from my area. Were throwing their little passive hints, like, shit, fool, something be stinking in this area right here.
Wash that ass.
Something like that, right? And I'm like, oh, man. One day I'm going to chow, and a homeboy's like, man, what the fuck is that? And he wasn't being passive. He was just like, genuine, what is that? And he was like so disgusted he couldn't eat. It was grotesque, dude. And I'm like, fuck. So I go back in the shower. And I squeeze at that bad boy, and out comes the most hideous substance known to man, and it's disgusting. And I'm like, oh, this is not good. So I squeeze and I squeeze and I squeeze and I squeeze, and I have to cut more to get more out. So I do that. Unfortunately, I cut a little bit too much. And now it won't stop bleeding. I squeezed everything out, but the bleeding does not stop. I squeezed too much out, maybe. I go to my bunk. I lay down, and within the hour, the back of my shirt is bloodied. And let me tell you something about prison. If they see blood, if guards see blood, they begin asking questions, obviously. So count time comes, and the guard comes around, and he sees that there is blood everywhere. And he's like, what the fuck? Or she was like, I'm sorry. She was like, what the fuck is this? I'm like, look, I need to go to medical. Blah, blah, blah. She says, show me. I tell her what happened. I'm straight up. This is what happened. I did this. She looks at my back, and she shuts everything down. And they basically call in this emergency squad that they have. And they come in, and they start investigating, basically. Because they are convinced that I was stabbed in the back. Literally. So I can only imagine what the wound looked like. So at this point. So I'm like, no, this is what happened. Here's the thing. If you get stabbed, you still get in trouble in prison.
Yeah.
You might be the stabbed one, but you get in trouble anyway. So they're making this big-ass stink. I'm like, can I just go to medical first? And they're like, yeah, okay, fine. They bring in a wheelchair, and I'm like, I don't need a fucking wheelchair, man. But it's procedure. They have to do it because apparently you're stabbed. So I get in this wheelchair shirtless. I am paraded down an entire walk in front of 1,000 billion people.
Wafting your stank.
I'm like, serious? This sucks. And of course, the nurse that comes picks me up is the one that gave me the most trouble about the scabies situation. So I'm like, this is a stinker right here. Literally and figuratively. So they take me in, man. And they go through all this fucking paperwork ordeal. The fucking captain comes down, and he's asking questions, and he's like, look, you got to tell us. I know you guys don't rat. And I'm like, dude, I swear on a stack of freaking Bibles that my on top of my mother's grave. I don't even give a shit. Just I'm telling you, this is the situation. I did not get stabbed. So they take pictures of my back and they showed me the pictures. And it looks like a fucking stab wound.
Mm.
Like it was, since I had drained that cavity, but cut it at the same time, it looks like a slice, a hole, and a slice. And I was like, oh. I was like, look, I'll be honest with you, that looks bad. But that's not what happened. There gets a point in prison where if you're not dead, the guards eventually go, fine, it's your life. And I'm like, yes, it is my life. I'm telling you, I'm more than glad to go back to that dorm. Absolutely no trouble with anyone at all. So they treat me, right? And by treat me, I mean they wipe me down and they slap a Band-Aid on it. And I think that was their way of teaching me a lesson. Yeah, it was small too.
Yeah.
I think that was their way of teaching me a lesson. Oh, you didn't get stabbed? Fine.
Yeah.
So they sent me back. And guess what? Because they didn't treat me legitimately, that shit gets 10 times worse, dude. The stink is atrocious. Horrid. I keep on going back and they keep pushing me. You gotta admit what happened. I'm like, dude, I'm telling you, please treat me. Nothing happened. It takes days, and finally I get some sympathy from one of the nurses.
At that point, they'd be like, dude, this guy got the stanky bag.
Yeah.
At this point, you'd be freaking saying something if something happened.
Yeah, man. I'm rotten over here, you know what I'm saying?
I'm rotten over here.
So, one of the nurses has great sympathy for me. Thankfully, it's the same nurse, by the way, that had sympathy for me in the scabies situation. And she's like, let me take a look at it. And she takes me into her chamber, I guess. And she's looking at it and she's like, this is infected. The hell you say?
You think?
Anyway, she starts prodding at that dude. And I feel bad for her because she was the one person that was nice to me. But coincidentally, by the way, and I don't know if I mentioned this in the video or not, this nurse hated everyone. But for some reason, she took a leaf of sympathy out of her book and gave me one a couple of times. So anyway, she was kind of hot too. But anyway, which is probably what she hated her when that was her defense system. But anyway, she's prodding at it. Poor girl, man. She's prodding at it. It's all red. She's telling me it's all hot. It's infected, right? Dude, this poor girl. She's prodding at it. And I'm looking at her like this as best as I can, right? Oh my God. This thing must have been so full of pus that the moment she hit it just right, this fucking, like Evil Dead 2 style, dude, this jet of pus just on her face. Naturally, she freaks out. The other nurse that was in the corner over there is gagging from the smell. I'm like, oh my, this sucks. All around.
Yeah.
There's no winning here. The nurse that's gagging runs out the room. I hear her vomit in the hallway. This poor girl is like, oh shit. She somehow keeps her cool most of the time. Washes off, wipes herself down as best she can. She's like, yeah, we're gonna put you on treatment. And so anyway,
screw this shit. I ain't doing
yeah,
this
she
again.
didn't even drain me or nothing. She got another girl to come in and drain me. She drained me. They put me on antibiotics, and for the next about 2 weeks, my back would always be burning, man. It felt like in that area, it felt like I had a tunnel of fire in me, and then eventually it just went away.
Ring of Fire?
Yeah. But I still got a hole back there.
Yeah.
And if you got a hole in your body, it fills up with fluids.
Yeah.
So every now and then, I have to kind of drain the hole, for lack of better words. And by that, I mean, I kind of scratch at the skin and this fluid comes out. And then I'm good again for another month or so.
So that's good.
So that's a thing that happened.
That's delicious.
It's pretty gross, dude.
Yeah.
But here's something that...
Are you sure you don't want to split it?
Well, I didn't mention the other one. This one will be super quick.
Okay.
And I'll boil it down to this. I mentioned that in prison people get bored and they start modifying their bodies, tattoos, etc.
Yeah, okay.
So just to take that disgusting image out of your head, I'm going to put something in that's super gay and gross. People put dominoes in their dicks. Yeah, they think it's cool.
We talked about it before.
Yeah. And the procedure is simple. You basically have to get your dick hard.
Yeah. Gay already.
Pretty gay. But they send you off to get your dick hard. Then the guy that's going to put the domino in pulls at the skin, gets a sharpened spoon, pops it through both sides of the skin, and then sticks in a domino.
Super gay.
Well, there was this one guy that learned how to do that because there were several people that would do it. And he didn't send you off to go get your dick hard.
Yeah.
he was like, all right, you ready, man? And he'd be like, yeah, what do I got to do? He's like, oh, pull your pants down. Then, casually talking to you, he would just start stroking your little dingling.
Ah, damn.
Be like, so anyway, yeah, man, whatever. And throwing out conversation like it's the most normal thing in the world. And people would be confused at first. If they didn't know what was up, they'd be like, what the fuck? And then just once your little dingling got hard, all right, man, you're ready to go. And people would be like, what the fuck? But anyway, word got out that he did that. And look, like I said, there was more than one person that did the domino bid. There was like 4 people in that dorm alone.
Gay.
Yes. This one dude suddenly had the most customers.
Gay, super gay.
To get the domino. And I'm like, how did this one guy, the one guy that apparently does the stroking himself,
damn,
get the most customers? Oh, that's right. Super gay. All these tough dudes trying to act tough, hating on people.
Ding sucked.
Yeah, hating on gay people. They're like, fuck you, fucking hoto, and all this shit. And they're going there getting their little fucking dingling stroked on the low.
Damn.
Not even the low, because everybody knew.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's gross.
Yeah. It's not even cool. Like, it's not even to completion or anything.
Yeah, like, what the fuck? I'm sure somebody popped, though. Oh, they got to him. Anyway.
He did like a final.
So, God, those are a couple little prison stories for you. Tell us what you think about that nonsense. This has been Ahab. That's Goontake. And we're out. Hit like, share, subscribe, though. Because we're cool like that.
Yeah. By the way, if we get 3 more subs, we'll get Dominoes.
Cool.
This music's story times, all kinds of shit for you. Anything goes inside the night, woke up with corpulent Jews. Movies, music, story times, all kinds of shit for you.